please be careful with plastic surgery overseas. You might get a little bit more than what you bargained for. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a 65-year-old woman who went to Tijuana, Mexico to get skin tightening plastic surgery, and she left with more than what she bargained for. Actually, she did not get the correct procedure. She got a procedure, but it wasn't the right one. And to reverse, what she actually got is going to cost her $75,000. Now, my first reaction would be, can you sue the place? Can you bring them to court? But are you going to be able to do that in Mexico? Are you going to go to Tijuana? Do you speak Spanish? Like, what's going on? How are you going to be able to fix this without just spending your money probably right back here in the States? $75,000. Again, as I said from the beginning, please be careful. You might get more than what you bargained for. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and get into the news clip. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Same facility for a successful weight loss surgery 6 years ago. This time she went back for a breast lift and to remove loose skin on her arms, thighs, and stomach.
So she had been to the place before and it was all good. She had a good experience. She's going to go back. And I want to pause right here before we get into it. I'm not going to say just because you go overseas is going to be a bad job. You can get some good stuff done in other parts of the world. The USA is not the only place where you can get successful surgery done, nor is an overseas place the only place where things can go wrong. Can go wrong right here in the USA as well. We've seen plenty of botched surgeries right here in the good old US of A. But let's continue.
But things didn't go as planned.
But when I woke up, my chest was really sore, and I went and I just started bawling.
After realizing she'd been given unwanted implants, Kimberly alerted a medical coordinator who suggested that she ask the doctor for them.
And she said, well, yeah, you told him you wanted a full C. I said, no, I would never say that. Not ever.
She says she also had an unwanted Brazilian butt lift and was having trouble breathing and developed a severe infection.
Now let's pause for a minute. Brazilian butt lift, that's what they call a BBL. You may have been hearing about that. You may hear it in popular culture. Basically, it makes your butt bigger. That's really what it is. And with BBL surgeries, I've seen women that have gotten those. That's a very complicated process to actually heal. They give you what they call a faja. This is a figure shaping garment, and you got to get massages, like actual medical massages. You can't just have somebody come rub you down. You got to get actual medical massages to make sure there's no blood clots or whatever. You can easily die in the aftercare portion of getting a BBL if you don't do your massages and go do all your treatments and wear your garments. It is a very invasive and difficult surgery to have. And I don't know why they would allow this lady at this age to get a thing like that. Even young girls have a problem with that kind of surgery. 65 years old, this is ridiculous, but let's continue.
I said, what happened to my mother?
Her daughter says after shouting for answers, she was physically pushed out by armed security.
But inside, I'm thinking my mom's up there.
Armed security. Now, you're not really going to have that necessarily in the USA. Maybe you might have some police, but when I'm thinking about Tijuana, I'm thinking about guys that got something bigger because it's a different country. The security situation is different, but let's continue. It's really unfortunate. I feel bad for them, but I'm just trying to explain kind of what's going on here from my point of view.
And I can't leave her. I was just afraid I was going to die right there. And she wouldn't have known.
Later, they claimed they were strong-armed into paying $2,500 more than the prepaid price due to what staff said was a longer stay.
She says, well, you don't have to pay, but we can have you put in prison. I can't go to prison with 500 stitches.
The two say they were forced to pack quickly into a van and were driven across the border and dropped off, where Kimberly says she went to a San Diego ER for antibiotics.
I think I'm lucky that I'm here. I'm lucky that the damage isn't any worse, although I am looking at another surgery now because the implants that they put in are so big. I don't have enough skin to enclose them.
Oh my goodness.
So they're not healing.
Public health experts say the best advice is to get information on the quality of care, practitioner training, and regulatory structures beforehand.
So are you going to get what you think you're going to get, or are you going to get something else?
You know, one thing that she should have had also was somebody in the room with her. Maybe, I don't know if she speaks Spanish or not, but you need to have somebody that's right there that is able to see what's happening before it happens. So if you're going in there for skin tightening and then you see them, like your friend or whoever's in the room, and they see them going toward your chest and, you know, messing around with your legs, it's like, well, wait a minute, you're not doing the right thing. You know, you got to be able to tell them to stop right away.
Or is it not going to be as good as you hoped?
Cat, come here, baby.
Kimberly says her pets are keeping her calm for now. Her advice is to stick closer to home.
I don't care how enticing they make the offer. Don't do it.
We talked to the FBI. They said that in this situation, they would ask people to contact their bank first to find out what, if any, recourse they may have. Also, people can file a complaint with the FBI at www.ic3.gov.
But what are you going to do when you're talking about a foreign country? Do they have jurisdiction? Can they go over to Tijuana and do something to them? Like, how does that really work? And your bank, again, we're dealing with a foreign country. How does it? And if you're talking about something in the U.S., a doctor's office, like if you are talking about a doctor, hospital, or whatever here, you got malpractice, you got lawsuits and whatnot. But what about over there? Different ball game. You don't have the protections you have over here. You can save money, and a lot of times you're able to get good work done, but it's pros and cons. Let me just wrap it on up with the bow clean on it. There's pros and cons to going overseas and getting work done. They can do a good job. She said she had been there before and there was no problems. Everything was all good. But then when she went back, that's where the problems started. So, I mean, and it's really just unfortunate. It did the wrong thing. As I said, there should have been somebody in the room with her to prevent that from going on. Just being able to observe. Maybe they speak Spanish and they're talking about, oh, we're going to do a breast job and whatever. And they hear that. It's like, well, wait a minute. Let's stop. That's not what we're here for. You got to have an advocate that's right there on your side, because this can happen to you. It most certainly can. And if you go to a really, really seedy place that's kind of, you know, unknown, don't know about it too much, man, they can mess around and steal your organs. It can get really, really crazy in that type of situation. But as I close, I want to say this. I'm glad that the woman is still here with us, because this could have ended a lot worse. I mean, she's in a bad way. She needs a corrective surgery of about $75,000 to fix the damage that has been done to her. But at least she's still here, because we've seen before people go get surgery here in the States, overseas, and they wind up not making it. I think Kanye West's mother, that's what happened to her. She was getting cosmetic surgery in some foreign country. I don't want to say the wrong country, so if y'all know, let me know in the comments. But she wound up not surviving, and may she rest in peace. I mean, those kind of things can happen. And I'm going to just add one last little piece. It's just my personal opinion. At a certain point, what are you even doing? You're 65 years old. Why even do this? Why even go through the skin tightening surgery? I understand maybe it's a cosmetic thing. You want to feel good about yourself, but the risks are the risks at that age worth the potential reward of looking better, feeling better about yourself, gaining self-esteem? Is it really worth it? I'm not quite sure that it is, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your viewpoint on what happened here with the surgery over in Tijuana? You think that this was something that could have been avoided? It's like, why go overseas to get certain things done? They may do a good job. They had done a good job with her before, but this time it wasn't the same way. And now there's no recourse. They could just do whatever they want, essentially, because what are they going to do? Go over the border and try to have any kind of authority over there? If you're here in the States, there's less of a chance of something like that happening, totally wrong like that happening, because of our liability. They're going to double and quadruple and quintuple check to make sure they're doing the right thing. Now, whether what they do is done well or not is a different story, and can be a matter of opinion sometimes. But at least you're not going to get a breast implant surgery and a BBL. I mean, good grief. A BBL surgery, if you don't know, in my humble opinion, is probably more invasive and more difficult to heal from than breast implants. I mean, it's crazy. I seen some of the girls on the plane. They gotta sit like German shepherds on the seat. They can't sit with their butt down. They gotta like you ever seen a dog in a car like on all four, standing up, looking out the window? You gotta be like that when you get a BBL. It's serious because you can't sit on yourself. It's a mess. You gotta have home health nurses. It's a lot. But whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.